Hello. If you're here, that means you're here, so thank you so much for being here. I'm Sarah, and today I'm selling at my first LA flea market! As the title of this video suggests. Now, in looking for a flea market to sell at, I considered a lot of options. I've been to a lot of different flea markets since moving here. That's such a stupid LA sentence. Like, I've been to a lot of flea markets since I don't know why. It's just like, okay, great. That's so cool that you've done that. I don't know. But anyway, I've been to a ton of flea markets since moving to LA. I'm originally from New York City, which I'm sure I'll say in every video I record. But I'm originally from New York City. I moved here a year and some change ago. And since then, I've, loved kind of dabbling in all of the flea markets that LA has to offer. Specifically the Melrose Trading Post, which is super fun, and the Silver Lake Flea Market, which is really cute, with obviously like any in between that I can find that I think, seem cool. It's been really fun just exploring the different ones and like seeing all the different vendors and like the different types of inventory, and you know what a flea market is. Like, I don't know why I'm describing like the concept of a flea market as though like the person watching this doesn't know what it is. Except if you don't, like, that's fine, whatever. I don't know. Let's end this sentence now. But yeah, so I've always, I've been a frequent visitor, like, to flea markets, but I've never actually sold at one, which is odd considering the fact that I've been reselling casually since I was about like 15 years old. Like, I've been thrifting since I was around 13, like since I could buy my own clothing, because like I didn't have money to go to Urban Outfitters or American Apparel, and this was back when thrifting was not socially acceptable, which is crazy considering, that's a time out of recent memory considering where we are now. And I love that there's more acceptance surrounding it, because obviously, like, no one should be shamed for shopping secondhand. Now we know it's actually the opposite. But at the time, it was not socially acceptable. I did not feel comfortable telling people that I thrifted, even though I loved it so much. I would lie and be like, oh, this is from American Apparel, this is from Urban Outfitters, because I was ashamed. Like, I didn't want people to know I was thrifting. That's a whole separate video to see where thrifting is now. But even though at the time I was like self-conscious about it, it ended up being a blessing because I fell in love with it, and it really, really, really just introduced me to my true love and passion, which is vintage clothing, sourcing vintage clothing, and it really helped me refine my sense of personal style as well, in a way that I don't think, I would have been able to if I had just been shopping retail since, like, I started developing my style. I think that going right into thrifting, having to sort through everything and decipher like what I don't like. And obviously that's changed over time, but it's just really helped me sort of find myself through clothing. Believe me, I could go on. This, like I said, is a separate video. Like, I wrote my college thesis about thrifting. I literally like wrote my college essay about thrifting. I wrote my job application CV about thrifting. Like, any prompt I have, it's most likely going to be about thrifting, because it's literally all I care about in life, aside from like a few things and people. One of the main reasons that I never joined a flea market was because I didn't know where to start. I kind of never thought about, what's the first step you need to take when you know you want to sell at a flea market. So step one is decide which flea market you want to sell at. Now, I'm sure wherever you are, there are a plethora of flea markets. You can visit different ones and get different vibes from, oh my god, I'm so not different vibes, anything but that. I'm so sorry that I said that. You can click off of this video, just kidding, please don't. Yeah, and you can just kind of like see like how the different ones are, see if you like the environment, and if you could see yourself selling there. And if you could always ask one of the vendors, I love your booth, this is super cool, do you know how I could look into selling here? Like, I've been thinking about it. Or if that seems intimidating, which I also get, like, you could easily just Google search it, name of the flea market, and then sell. And then it should take you to their home page, which should have more info about like selling and, where you can apply. So for the Los Feliz Flea Market, I just searched Los Feliz Flea Market sell, and they have a small entry fee of $45, which, I mean, I'm the type of person where like no amount of money is small. Like, obviously, like, $45 isn't like nothing, but I think that comparatively it's not bad. You give a little bit of information about yourself, like your name, your shop, just like, some fun facts about you. I kind of made up that they ask for fun facts, but like, you can include them if you want, why not? Like, you submit that information, they email you confirming that you're going to be a part of the flea market, you sign up for a specific date, and you also select your plot, or your sort of like tent, so you know where you're going. Yeah, it's just like way easier than I thought it would be, so I definitely encourage, if you are looking to sell at a flea market in LA or just somewhere in your area, just look up the flea market and just go to the homepage and see what the requirements are. Just go for it, just go for it. That's where we're going to be going today, and the Los Feliz Flea Market specifically is every Saturday. I would hope so, because it's Saturday and that's where I'm going now, so fingers crossed. I've never ever been to this one, so I'm really nervous. I spent some time this week gathering about like 80 things to sell. Initially I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 100 things, but it's my first time, I'm by myself, I have no car, like I just kind of wanna test the waters. So I'm gonna bring 80 things with me, 2 clothing racks, a small table, and a chair that I can like sit on so I don't die. Okay, and then really quick, I just want to show you guys what I'm wearing today. So for someone like me, where clothes, this is such a cringy sentence, but like clothes are literally like my life. That's so annoying, I'm sorry. Ew, ugh. But like what I'm wearing is super conducive to how I'll feel that day and my confidence. So these clips are from like a black owned vendor, but I can't remember which one because I got them like last year. But this dress is vintage and I'm just super excited about it. Okay, my setup is super not conducive to showing full outfit photos, so I'm just gonna try and get a better full view once I'm actually at the flea market. Yeah, okay, let's go. Gonna show a little more of my outfit now. I'm not wearing a mask because no one's around me, but I have it in my hand in case anybody comes by. But yeah, I'm about to load all of my shit into a lift and then we're gonna head over. Okay, so we're finally here. I'm gonna show this part in fast motion. Oh, but I should mention that, okay, so while I was waiting to get in, so basically there was a whole fiasco with the Uber. So there was a very specific entrance we had to enter through, and I didn't really know where to direct him. Eventually he was great, so he found it, and we entered through the gates. But little did I know there would be a huge line of 10 plus cars stalled waiting to load into the flea market. Now, this is something that I definitely should have known, but since it was my first time, I didn't know exactly how this part would go. Obviously, since I was in an Uber, it was super inconvenient, and I also just felt really bad for making the driver wait there with me, so I told him I'd give him a big tip, and he knew that he was kind of stuck with me there since I had 200 pounds of stuff with me. So that was kind of a stressful time, just because I wanted to be respectful of the driver's time. So it took like 30 minutes or so to load into the actual flea market, but this is obviously after that, and here's me unloading and getting ready. So I was super meticulous about how I organized the clothing. I wanted to merchandise and organize them in a way that was appealing and approachable, and I was playing around a lot with the positioning of the items and how I wanted to display them. I made one rack that was more sort of kitschy, retro, vintage, and I made one rack that was more kind of sportswear, pullovers, hoodies, etc. So that's how I organized them this time around. I wanted to highlight some of the best pieces towards the front, which is why I ended up putting that cow jumpsuit, which sold at the very front, that fringe vest, and that Corona beer zip up, which is really funny. This took me a total of about 30 minutes, I'd say. Finally all done setting up. So I just wanted to highlight some of my favorite items I had hanging in front of my booth, and I'm going to give you guys a closer look at some of the items I sold. So we have some tees, a lot of graphic tees. This is the rack that has more t-shirts, pullovers, hoodies, denim, overalls, sportswear, etc. Got some gems here for sure. Love this Duke hoodie. Rack number 2 is the one that's more kitschy, vintage focused, and you'll see what I mean. So we got this beautiful 80s bikini, this fringe vest is a must, oh, this cow jumpsuit of course, some dresses, a lot of denim, some cute little tees, that 70s ski jacket is to die for, We love a prairie dress and of course knit sweaters for the fall, etc. And we have some 90s long sleeves, these crazy bell bottoms, you name it, we got it. A little varsity tennis skirt action going on towards the back. Now here's a little sneak peek of what the rest of the flea market was like. Obviously there were so many booths with so many vendors, awesome people selling so many unique things, and it was super fun. But, 4 o'clock came around and it was about time to start packing up. So I started removing all of my clothing items from the hangers and packing them in my suitcases. Now, one thing to note is I could definitely have a better system in place for this. Next time, I think it would be worth investing in some garment bags so I don't have to remove every item from each hanger. It was kind of time consuming, but it wasn't so bad. This probably took all of 20 minutes. Long day, long day, long day. Good day, long day. So, I have just gotten back from my very first flea market selling day. I couldn't think of like a neater way to say that. Oh my god, I literally look like I'm unhinged. It was super, super, super fun. I'd say like the main value from today wasn't even selling things. It was just kind of like learning things, like learning what I should be doing, learning what to bring next time. Just like it was a very valuable sort of learning experience overall. So first and foremost, I don't have a car. So, that was its own issue. It's not impossible to do without a car. That being said, like, it is significantly more complicated. So I took a lift, and we finally pulled into the loading line, and we were about 10 cars deep. So, like, this is stressful because, like, I'm not paying him to, like, sit here and, like, wait with me. Like, I felt so bad. He was so nice. I really lucked out. And he was like, it's fine. Like, I'll wait. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna give you, like, a huge tip. I'm so sorry. So that was kind of anxiety inducing. And now I'm thinking, I'm like, is that gonna be how it is every time? Like, I don't know if I can, like, do that with a lift. So I kind of have to figure out what that's going to mean for me in the future. So I got there, it was super casual. I was able to rent a tent for like 35 bucks, and then I unloaded all my stuff, 2 suitcases full of clothes, 2 bags of hangers, 2 metal clothing racks, and like 1 extra bag full of like random stuff. One thing I noticed right away was that most people had at least these basic things. They had a tent of some sort. A lot of people had like a folding table that they put a tablecloth on, and it just kind of made the booth more organized. At least 1 chair so they could just like sit and not be like standing. Clothing racks, of course. Those are really the standard things that you need to start. I didn't even pull up with like half of those things, and it was fine. Honestly, it was definitely sufficient, but I do just like want to bring more with me in the future, like a sign and like S-hooks to like hang on the tent and like display different items. Maybe an accessory wall would be cool to have in the future. So I was just getting like ideas and inspiration. Something really cool to have with you would be business cards, posters, or like having the logo for your shop or small business anywhere like around your booth is just key for branding, and it just makes it like more exciting to look at. So it really kicked off around like 11:30, and I just met like such amazing people, and I think that although I was there to sell, especially since it was my first one, I really was excited to just like meet people and like kind of get a feel for the flea market overall. Everyone's so sweet, so helpful, like so down to earth. You're able to enter the Los Feliz flea market without having selling permit, which is really chill. I also switched the positions of my racks a few times throughout the day. So I had 2 clothing racks, and at first they were both facing outward to like the customer, so you could see like the front of the racks as you walked by. Then I turned them the other way so that they were parallel to the walkway, and so that when you walked by you could see like the whole row of clothes, and I put one behind that as well with some space in between to walk around and shop. And that seemed to make a world of difference. I don't know if it was just like a coincidence. I'm not saying this is like a scientific fact, but from my experience today, like I think that that is probably a better way to catch people's attention, just because like they can see more of the items like when they're walking by, versus if it's facing this way, they can only see like the first thing on the rack, and if they don't like it, they're probably just gonna keep walking. I also think I wore this dress today. Like I really love this dress so much, and like as I said, just wearing things that I love makes me feel more comfortable and confident. And I think that wearing something that's really true to you and kind of shows off your style, or maybe like represents your shop, is a really cool way to just like attract more people to your booth and just kind of start conversation. Honestly, it can just be like an icebreaker. If there's like a statement piece or like a cool graphic tee or like whatever you like, I think just expressing yourself that way can almost add to the overall like feeling of your booth, which is super cool. So I did sell some things, which was really exciting. I went in with no expectations, like I said, so when I sold my first item, I was like, wow, this is awesome. I didn't sell like an insane amount of clothes, like by any means. I think that, you know, the foot traffic was like not crazy high. A lot of that has to do with coronavirus, which is for the better considering people are supposed to be staying home as much as they can. I also heard some of the sellers mention the fact that it's like the weekend after Thanksgiving. A lot of people are out of town, which, you know, may also have contributed to that. But in general, I think the foot traffic like varies from time to time. And one thing I would recommend if you're a seller is to take photos of the items that people buy, like when they buy them. If someone's like, oh, I'm gonna get this sweater, like maybe have them throw it on over their shirt and take a photo of them, tag them in it on your shop's Instagram, have them tag you in a photo that they post. Funny I say that because I literally did not do that for a single purchase that was made today. Overall, it was such a fun experience. I think it's just like the beginning. Like, I hate this saying, but I'm just dipping my toes in the water, you know? I want to try out different flea markets and I can like let you know, I can compare and contrast different ones, which I'm excited to do, but I need to like just take it one step at a time because I am by myself, I don't have a car, and it is a lot of time and like physical energy. So I don't want to like stretch myself too thin just yet. But I am planning for my next one or thinking about when I want to do it. And I just wanted to really like emphasize the fact that it's probably a lot easier than like you think it is. If there's a specific one that you want to sell at, again, just look it up and I'm sure that you'll be able to find information on how you can get involved. I think flea markets are just such a fun community thing and they're just such a great way to support smaller businesses. It's just like a great way to shop and sell. So yes, I'm looking forward to many more flea markets. If you have any questions about this flea market in particular, I'm not an expert, but I can just let you know from my first experience how it was. Just hit me up. At Sarah from New York on Instagram is my Instagram. But this has been my first flea market experience. I hope that you enjoyed watching and coming along with me. Otherwise, I will see you in whatever is happening later, soon. That was all disgusting. Delete, Control, Alt. So thanks for being here, and I will talk to you soon.